Rayo Vallecano qualified for Europe after a draw against Mallorca, stalemate at the Estadio de Vallecas, which had a wonderful atmosphere throughout the entire fixture. Players that weren't available, Oscar Valentin and Sergio Camello, looking on from the stands wearing their vintage Rayo Vallecano shirts. On the field of play, the home side had a clear objective, which was to go out all out in attack and try and score an early goal to settle the nerves. Álvaro García with that curling effort. Florian Lejeune moments later heading wide. Mallorca side who came into this fixture with nothing to play for after having fallen just short of their race for European qualification. A burst of pace from Rayo down the right-hand side led to this move, which had plenty of players involved. Isi Balafon with the shot, blocked by a Mallorca defender. There's plenty of mobility early on from absolutely every Rayo player in attack. There's Antonio Rayo with the clearance for Mallorca. This ball dropping to Álvaro García, who was ubiquitous in attack for Rayo in this game. Although he did drive that shot high and wide from Dominic Graves' goal. Moments later, you see Balafon dragging his attempt wide. A strong start to the game from Rayo, and here Sergi Darder ran into trouble. Álvaro García forcing Dominic Graves into a save, and that would be a common pattern throughout the game, with the Slovakian goalkeeper denying absolutely everything that Rayo threw at him. Late into the first half, Mallorca started to venture forward, across from Doni Lato, meeting the head of Vedat Murici. The giant from Kosovo couldn't get that one goal-bound either. A swift transition from Rayo resulted in another effort from Álvaro García. Once again, this one would float over the crossbar. Forest of Mallorca players preventing Rayo's shot from finding Dominic Graves' goal, but when they did get the attempt on target, the goalkeeper was always a match for the Rayo players' strike. This time Unai Lopez finding some space after a crafty nutmeg on Mateo Morey. Two-part effort from Unai Lopez and the save at the near post by Dominic Graves. Once again, when it wasn't the goalkeeper, it was the defenders that were preventing the ball from going into the back of the net. Two attempts there for Rayo denied. Firstly, it's David Lopez clearing the shot from Isi Balafon, and then Omar Mascarell. Resolute defending from a team that has always prided itself on being very solid at the back, the Islanders. In the second half, this is almost immediately after the restart, Vedat Murici's shot being blocked, but it was a stronger start to the half from Diego Barrasate's men, and this is probably the clearest chance for Murici. You would bet your house on him finding the back of the net from that distance and with a header, but he completely got his timing wrong. Then this curling effort bending just wide, but a warning sign for Rayo to wake up in the second half. A bit more urgency needed. And so you're better deciding to make some changes. This just a couple of minutes after the restart. Unai Lopez, who was on a yellow card, you're better deciding not to take any chances, and he brought on Pedro Diaz. Alvaro Garcia, a constant headache down the left-hand side, but two saves from Dominic Grave. Firstly, from a vicious strike by Alvaro Garcia. It was all hands there from Dominic Grave, and then here he had to adjust his footing and bat away the effort from Isi Palazón. They were getting closer, Rayo. Ricci chesting it down for Samuel Costa, but his volley was never troubling Augusto Batalla. Then, towards the end of the second half, the game started getting a little bit crazy as Antonio Sanchez went for the audacious long-distance effort. He was playing into the hands of Mallorca, really. Batalla here probably should have let that one run out for a throw-in, as he was then forced to sprint back into goal. As I said earlier, was a nervy, intense final passage to Europe for Rayo Vallecano. They didn't do it the easy way. The changes, Gumbau came on for value, which meant that Pedro Diaz pushed forward into the attacking midfield role. And here you can see him making a surging run forward. A comedy of errors from the Mallorca defence, and again Rayo Vallecano unable to apply the finishing touch. Jorge de Frutos hitting his shot over the crossbar. Antonio Rayo slow to the 50-50, and David Lopez also unable to defend that pass, so some sloppy defending from both centre halves. Kyle Larin came on for Vedat Murici, who was struggling with a collarbone injury sustained early on in the game. And another clear chance for Gerard Gumbau on the edge of the box. It just bobbled as he went to strike the ball. See the ball bouncing up just there as he skied his effort. Fast-flowing football from Rayo, and in the end a slightly underwhelming effort from Alvaro Garcia. Continue to look for that goal that would settle the nerves. Jorge de Frutos with that effort into the side netting. More changes made by Arrasate, Dani Rodriguez and Jan Salas coming on for Marc Domènech and Antonio Sanchez. So a couple more players from the academy getting some playing time for the Islanders. And this here would probably be the tensest moment towards the end of the game, as Batalla got his bearings completely wrong. Fortunately for him though, Rayo struck the ball with his shoulder rather than his head. Allowed the Argentinian to make up the ground he'd lost and pluck the ball out of the air. More resolute defending from Mallorca this time. Second half substitute Manu Morlanes deflecting that shot from Pedro Diaz. Another header from Florian Lejeune, denied by the high-flying Dominic Grave. Mojica would replace Donny Lado in the final stretch in this game. Again, the ball fell favourably into the path of Jorge de Frutos, but Dominic Grave was on hand once again, this time producing a right leg to deflect that shot behind for a corner. Brilliant reflex save from Dominic Grave. Quick off his line. The player that was named the MVP, and rightfully so in this game. And into the dying minutes, Trejo and Embarba came on to provide some fresh legs in attack for Rayo. Embarba's shot produced probably the most unconvincing save of the evening from Dominic Grave. And once the game finished, they all had to huddle round and look for the result elsewhere, and it was confirmed that Rayo would qualify for next season's Conference League.